Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. This is a like on the map and just speculating what the world's gonna look like, and by the end of the century, and map changes. It's just a fun little game where you can just change the borders around of other countries. Um, yeah, I guess I'll just first just change some countries around. If don't get mad at me because it's just me speculating on what countries are gonna look like. I'm gonna mostly probably just focus on Europe because there's over 50 countries in Europe. First of all, we're just gonna get rid of all these small countries like Liechtenstein. Give that to Switzerland because that's most likely what it would go to. And then Italy, they've got San Marino and Vatican City. Those would most likely go to Italy because they are inside the borders. And then France would get, they would get the country of Monaco, and that would become their own country. It would be part of France. And then Aragon or Aragonia, I don't really know how to say it. We'll go to okay, so that's the minor changes in Europe, and we're slowly just going to expand other nations. Really, I don't think that either Serbia or Albania would conquer, or Greater Albania, because Albania does have some good influence with like this part of Greece. Most of Macedonia speaks some sort of so I think that Kosovo would go to definitely Albania. And obviously Greece is not going to leave North Macedonia alive, so they're going to conquer North Macedonia. Oops, I accidentally locked my conquer thing. Okay, they would conquer North Macedonia, easily conquer Macedonia, and I definitely think that Montenegro would definitely become like a rogue state, and like everyone around them would be like kind of like just like weary and ready to conquer them. So we're just gonna leave Montenegro alone for now. They're just gonna be like a rogue state, like kind of like the mafia. And I definitely think that Poland would get to this part of Russia, Kaliningrad, that used to be owned by Germany and has lots of Polish people in them. And Russia doesn't really have enough influence in the Balkans to take care of the Poles, and they don't really have enough. Their navy isn't good enough to strike at the Poles. So the Poles just decide to buy Kaliningrad. Oh, and Russia would always get this part of this like that, and would get those two provinces off, and that's just what their borders would look like, because Russia was really just like trying to conquer lands. And then you I think that the Baltics would end up uniting to face Belarus, which would get like independence. It would start trying to influence the Balkans, so they would unite with each other. And I think that Estonia would do that because I'm pretty sure they have the largest population out of all the nations. So I think that they would take control of all the Balkans and form the Baltic Empire or the Baltic Union or the Baltic States, to counter the Belarus trying to trying to gain influence in the Balkans and trying to get access to the sea. And I think that Romania would definitely get Moldova because their economy is really bad and they can't really stabilize. So they would definitely unite with each other because their cultures are so similar. And that would just be that territory there. Turkey would have lots of interest in Cyprus, so would probably fight over it with the Greeks. So we're gonna split Cyprus in between, because it's basically already is split between them today, and I really don't think that Palestine would really have a chance of survival. They really I think they would basically just not really exist as being too independent, and their independence would slowly be brought down by the Israeli military forces. Montenegro is actually is bringing up tension by all of its neighbors by increasing its military spending a lot, and the president of, or the guy that's in charge of Montenegro would just have so much power, and just would probably be one of the strongest guys in the entirety of the what is it called? I'm trying to think of what it's called. A brain fart. I don't remember what it's called. I think I'm just gonna skip this, and he would be the strongest in this region. Like Bulgaria, you would be the strongest, probably richest person in all of the this region, southern Europe, I would say. I don't remember what it's called. I'll probably figure it out later. But it would probably be influenced the most by Serbia, because they really have lots of interest in this nation, because they're mostly just Montenegro is really Serbian. So they would probably try to influence and conquer and get the land so they could get access back to the sea. Would probably end up conquering and would end up owning Montenegro, because they really don't have enough power to resist the influence of Serbia, and they would end up covering. Okay, I definitely think that relations between the northern part of Sweden, northern and northern Finland, would definitely start basically tensions between Finland and Sweden would come up between a conflict that happens. I don't think that Finland has the chance, since there's so many Swedes in northern Finland. I think Switzerland, Sweden, not Switzerland, would definitely want to have the northern Finland, so I think they would definitely take over northern Finland. They don't really have the power to resist, and Finland's really just wanting to join. After the defeat, they're really embarrassed, and they've lost so much of their troops and population, so I think that they would definitely be conquered or join Estonia's federation, or Commonwealth, or whatever you want to call it. And they expand their grasp over the Balkans after becoming super weak. And basically that's all Denmark. Denmark sells Greenland to the United States because they start getting arrogant, and either they sell it to them or they're going to conquer it. Now America is in a really good position to dominate this new passage, and Canada is really focusing on developing its northern provinces, and so is the United States, by just pumping tons of money into it. And there's a conjoined union to make the northern parts of America and Canada richer. I definitely think that this is a weird issue with this that just happens every time. In Romania and Estonia both own lands, which I didn't do that. It's just a random glitch in the game. And I definitely think that since Georgia and Armenia are so close and they're so close in like people, and Armenia has a good relationship with Iran, they would would definitely buy this land, and since they encircle that, they would get that off Azerbaijan and give weapons away, and would unite with Georgia because their cultures are so similar. And now Armenia joins the European Union, which is and so does Israel and Greece. Ukraine joins because it's scared of Russia conquering more of its territory. And Belarus is also scared and buys this territory, but then decides that it wants to unite with Ukraine because their people are very similar. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It was just a glitch lag spike. Okay. But I was gonna do something, but with Ukraine getting all this Belarusian land, they would take this part from Ukraine. Czech Republic and Slovenia would become very close together and think about uniting with each other. And they do this to benefit both their nations, to develop the economy and just to help the people all around. And Belgium is it's really struggling with all of its stuff going on in its nation. So all the nations here split them between themselves because they're so similar. Luxembourg, Belgium loses, it's just non-existent at this point. Russia pumps up its aggression against the Ukraine-Belarusian Union. And Greece is starting to become very aggressive towards Albania because they think that they have interest in the country because their people are very similar in culture. Romania kind of wants its lands back that Bulgaria stole from them, so it wants to fight. But might be facing the Greek-Bulgarian alliance. Slovenia and Croatia both get really close in a relationship and decide that their people are so similar and that they should just unite. And at this point, Belarus is surrounded by two very powerful nations and really is not stable enough, and Serbia has joined the European Union as well as most other nations, and this country right here, Bosnia and Herzegovina, forgot their name for a minute, doesn't really need to exist. So Croatia and Serbia, both in the European Union, decided to split them in half. Like this. Which a lot of Bosnia-Herzegovina is Serbian and Croatian, but there is a very small amount of Bosnians in the land. I think that since tensions are rising in Israel and the European Union and NATO would finally get rid of the very pestery. And I'm really focusing on one region, this region right here. But I could make this a series if someone wants me to make it a series and wants me to turn other nations. I could go to any other nation like Congo, Africa. I could go to South America, and you could suggest things. But I think that Argentina, I should start now, would definitely own this and King Edward's Point. Okay. Argentina. I could go to Africa, but it's kind of like a mess down here in Southern Africa, so I don't think I will touch Southern Africa, because it's kind of broken. Literally, it's broke. I might, Ethiopia would probably conquer, unite with that, Djibouti, or Djibouti, and conquer Eritrea after a long war. United Arab Emirates would definitely start conquering other nations, as well as Iraq conquering Kuwait. Iran would want its lands back, and Armenia would want to unite, and the Caucasus Union. Stability of the European Union has really gone down in the last all this time, and Turkey is really just messing stuff up. And we're gonna go over to Asia. China lets Mongolia buy land from them. Mongolia's borders are engulfed and a lot larger in size. Pakistan decides I think that Pakistan would definitely conquer this northern part of to get to its neighbors and conquer one of the richest lands. So it went all the way there just to conquer one of the biggest cities in this land. But angers a lot of nations. I'm gonna do one more thing, guys. Okay. So this is the formation of the Ethiopian Empire, which I think is a really cool concept, because Ethiopia did actually control Yemen at one point. And I'm gonna end this video right here. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me some stuff that you want to see down in the comment section below.